Welcome back to Forza Horizon 5. The other day, we unlocked this thing, the Camaro Pro Stock Drag Car. I made a video about it a couple days ago, and in that video, I promised you guys that today we would jump into FH5 and try out the new Ford GT. Chat was telling me earlier the new Ford GT is actually OP, so we will give it a go and see what it can do. Please hold. Do you hear the turbos in there? I really did not have a V6 on my bingo card sounding that good.
Playground Games heard T10's version and said, "Okay, my turn."
This wouldn't be an AR12 video without any fun facts about the incredible Ford GT Le Mans car. Ford has been running Le Mans for a very, very long time, as you've probably seen if you've ever seen Ford versus Ferrari. When Ford came out with the new Ford GT, their goal was to bring glory back to Ford and win Le Mans again. Spoiler alert, they actually did that in 2016. I don't know how many people actually know this, but all of the Ford GTs, including the road cars and the race cars, are actually built here in Canada. They're made by this company called Multimatic. When Ford is building those sorts of cars, they need to do a little bit of testing on them.
And Multimatic is right here. This is one of their small bases. They've got a bigger base in Toronto where they actually build a lot of the cars. But this is where they actually test all of the cars that get built. And we're at Calivogie Motorsports Park with my GR86. Today we're doing some preseason testing with the GR86 to make sure it actually works. If you want to see more about this, there'll be a video in like a couple of weeks or so be on the lookout.
They use the circuit that I drive around at to test all of these cars, which is so cool. Some of you guys might remember back in the day, I did a little bit of work with Ford when Ford was bringing back the Ford Ranger. As it turns out, I was invited to a Ford party, and one of their Le Mans drivers was there. His name is Dirk Mueller. He was actually the guy who won Le Mans for Ford in the number 68 Ford GT. Anyways, we were at like a Ford after party and there was food there. And I was speaking with Mr. Mueller and somebody bumped into me and I dropped the chicken wing on Mr. Mueller's foot. Yeah, I bet you that's a story you didn't expect to hear today. It is a super cool car with a great history, and I cannot wait to see what it can do. Let's jump back to the festival and see what sort of customization we can do to this thing. Chat was already telling me it's OP in S2 class, but I think before we jump up to S2 class, we should give it a go in S1 first. So to do that, we're gonna need to downgrade this thing. We're gonna need to say goodbye to these Michelin tires, and we're gonna need to say hello to some rally racing tires. That way we drop our PI, we're down into S1 class now, and now we can sort of figure out the upgrades we want. We do have an engine swap for this thing, and it's the Racing V6 twin turbo out of the Huni truck. With upgrades, that is gonna be scary fast. 900 horsepower with that engine. We'll come back to that. I'm gonna leave it rear wheel drive. What I've realized after driving so many of these GTE and GT3 cars is all-wheel drive just kind of makes them work. So I'm gonna stick it in rear wheel drive. We're gonna have to deal with some wheel spin, but it's gonna be worth it. Counteract all of the wheel spin, I'm just gonna give it a little bit thicker tires in the back. Hopefully that's nice. I guess since we've got them, I can also give them some nice engine spacers in the front and in the rear to give it a nice little bit of poke. I'm also not going to change the wheels because they're a center lock wheel and everybody likes center lock. Actually, chat, do you want a fun fact about center lock wheels? Okay, this is going to get very nerdy for a second. The way you take these sorts of wheels off is by torquing them with like this big center locking wheel nut. On a regular wheel, like this, for example, this is like a regular car tire wheel. When you torque a regular car tire, you're usually going, I don't know, between like 80 and like 150 foot-pounds. When you torque a center lock wheel nut like this, you torque them to like 450 or 500 foot-pounds. When you see people changing the wheels, either they use like a gun or they use a breaker bar that's like 6 feet long. Homie's got a hella long breaker bar. If you ever wanted to torque your nut, you now have more information on that. We've already got our 6-speed transmission. We've already got our racing differential. No need to mess around with either of those. We can go and get some weight reduction. That is a very nice upgrade. Okay. And then I guess we'll just give it a little bit of horsepower. We can get anti-lag. Nice. Oh, and if we try to give it extra horsepower, it takes us out of S1 class. Goodbye, center lock wheel. Hello, regular wheel. So we've got exactly the same amount of horsepower now, but we've also got less grip, but we weigh less. I don't know what to expect from this. Are we just gonna spin our wheels like mad off the line, or we're gonna spin our wheels off the line all the way up to 60 miles an hour? Anyways, Ford GT, away we go. I think we might have a pretty decent car on our hands here. We will see. The semi-slick tires, although they don't have as much grip as like the Michelin racing tires, the grip is still really, really good. KTM tried to kill me. The extra weight reduction is lovely in this. Is it going to be OP in S1 class? Absolutely not. But is it a lovely car to drive in S1? And could it be used in like a spec racing series? Absolutely. We actually had this conversation while I was unlocking the pro stock drag car. But how cool would it be if the developers actually gave us some of these sorts of cars that came pre-tuned with very leveled balance of power? So all the cars were basically the same, and then we could essentially have like competitive Forza Horizon 5 races using cars like this. I think it'd be so sick. Not the fastest S1 car I've ever driven by miles, but what a lovely car. I think we need to try S2 now. To do that, we're gonna go with the Racing V6. We're gonna keep it rear wheel drive for now. We're gonna swap off these semi-slicks and go back to the full racing tires. And then I think we need to get some horsepower. It's not going to be OP in like the conventional sense, but I think it will be one of the best like GTE cars that we've had unlocked this month. We've got 1,100 horsepower. Hopefully this isn't just wheel spin everywhere. If it can put the power down, I think it's got great potential. What fantastic grid RNG. Oh my god, there's loads of Ford GTs. They're not that good, right? Boys, I think I'm about to get absolutely destroyed in this lobby. I guess we're gonna find out who has all-wheel drive and who has rear-wheel drive. I am rear-wheel drive. We lose the launch game, but as soon as we get into the top speed game, I think we should be good. And when we get into the corners, we're gonna be so much lighter than all of these guys. Here we go. Look at that. Late on the brakes. We're gaining already. Oh, this is sick. Look at this. Gaining through the corners. Gaining through the corners. We are a cornering machine in this. Top speed, baby. Don't kill me. 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 It's a bit difficult to drive, especially when you keep being crashed into. But we're up to P2, boys. Well played. Watch this. Watch on the brakes when he gets on the brakes versus me. So much faster because we're lighter. 100 pounds may not sound like a lot, but it makes such a massive difference. It's a completely different game. And chat was really out here going, no, it's not OP. You're a liar. Not OP. I mean, it's definitely not OP if you're going up against like the Brabhams and the Moslers and the Bad to the Blades. 100% those cars will beat you, but compared to like the other GTE and GT3 cars, this thing is fantastic. Rear wheel drive was 100% the right call, at least for a circuit like this. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit worried we were gonna get absolutely destroyed, but well played. What a fantastic car. Look at the lap times. The Brabham destroyed us, but we were the fastest Ford GT by miles. I'm gonna go and break all the rules as I usually do, and I'm gonna take this thing rally racing. I basically just want to see what a Ford GT is like with all-wheel drive and with off-road tires. There are no off-road tires, so we're gonna need to go rally tires instead. I'm gonna go rally suspension, lift it up. Look at the suspension. We have 1,460 horsepower, and because we like to round up around here, that's at least 1,600 horsepower. How do you round up 1,460 to 1,600? Let's be honest, if you're 5'10", you're 6 feet. If you're 5'9", you are also 6 feet. This will help out later in life. Rounding up is very useful. I'm not gonna lie, I think the AI might be regretting their car choices in a couple of seconds. I really think my Ford GT is cooking here. On the on-road sections, it's not gonna be great, but as soon as we get off-road, turn! As soon as we get off-road, it's pretty sick! Oh my god. Boys. Oh my god. Ah! It's a Group B Le Mans hypercar. That's essentially what this is. I just got an awful idea. What if we do a challenge in FH5 where we go in and we build off-roading supercars and hypercars and turn them into proper desert challenging rally race cars? I think that could be such a fun challenge. Who needs a Ford RS200 when you have a Ford GT Le Mans winning race car? I mean, the only real downside for this car is it does actually get a little bit of understeer when you're trying to drive it on the road normally. But as soon as you jump off-road, you just send it sideways and that makes up for it immediately. Like, look, a little bit of understeer in there, but then as soon as you're off-road into the dirt, it's lovely. I think this might actually be one of my new favorite off-roading cars to drive in this game. Wait, chat, back in the day, didn't Ford actually used to run the Ford GT70 off-road in real life? This wouldn't technically be like the most unrealistic thing ever. I mean, it's a little ridiculous, but it works. We have one more thing to go and do. I'm gonna need to try and drift this Ford GT. So drift suspension, obviously mandatory. But then do I go rear wheel drive or all wheel drive? That's the question. And do I run the upgraded engine? I feel like I do want the upgraded engine. What if I just say stuff it, 1,500 horsepower rear wheel drive Le Mans drift car? How hard could it really be? I'm gonna give it the drift suspension. I'm gonna give it drift tires. I'm gonna make my tires back to normal thickness. I don't want the extra grip. Other than that, I'm just gonna give it a 4-speed gearbox just because I think it's a little bit more fun. All right, this is gonna be a little bit more slippery than I thought it would be. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. What a sick car, bro. Hold these corners in one if possible. I'm losing a bit of angle, but that's okay. But it is nice and buttery smooth. We're looking good. Try to run the outside line if possible. Go for a bit more angle. There's 160, 170, 181K. That was like buttery smooth too. The Ford GT is just the car that keeps on giving. Not only is it a great car to drive stock, it's a decent car in S1. It's a super fun car in S2. It somehow makes for a great rally car, and it's a fun little drift car as well. And it was built here in Canada. What more do you really want?